What if you could create more kindness in the world just by being you? Everyone has the potential to create and receive more kindness. What if kindness is more than being nice and compassionate to others? Have you ever considered what having more kindness for you could create in your life? Get ready to learn how the energy of kindness is integral to reducing stress in your life and how it can assist in healing your body. Now, here is the host of Cultivating Kindness with Karen, facilitator of healing, Karen Leslie.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy you're here joining me for what will be the last episode of Cultivating Kindness with Karen in 2023. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that we've come around to the end of another year. I'm so grateful, actually, to be sitting here with you right now and thinking about, wow, it's been a year. It's been over a year since I've started my show, but now here we are at the end of 2023, and there's so much to look at, so much to think about as to what's been happening, and then what do I want going forward, and what do you want going forward? So there's a lot that we're going to talk about today. I mean, I titled the show, so whose eyes are you looking through in 2023? And it was like this idea of kind of looking back on what's been going on, not from a perspective of judgments of it or bringing up any hurt or difficulties. It's really, we're going to look at it from the perspective of what can you learn about how you view 2023 so that when you look forward now in just a few days, I mean, we are December 27 today, in just a few days, we are going to enter 2024. And what if we could be in a different space, a different energy, a different thought process than the one we've been in for this past 12 months? That stepping into that, oh my, it could lead into, well, I'm hearing the word greatness, opportunities, satisfaction, enjoyment, creativity. Like, those are all the words that are flooding in. So which of those words do you like? Which of those words did your body respond to that you're like, oh, I'll have that? Remember, our body is so aware of everything going on. It's listening to our words. So some of those words I just spoke, they're going to have a different response for you. I know a couple of them really hit home for me as I was speaking. So I might have to go back and listen to the replay, hear them again, and see which ones they were. Because when information just kind of flows through me like that, to be honest, I don't really remember a lot of what it is. So thank goodness for replays. And it's wonderful that the replay's there for those of you who can't be here live with us today, so that you always have the opportunity to go back and listen to the shows, listen to them 2 or 3 times if you want, maybe even take a few notes, because some of the information can be very new, very different, and also very powerful. We look at things from different perspectives, depending where we are in our life, how old we are, do we have a different role in our life? Did we become a parent? Did we start a new job, move, change cities, or maybe even countries? All of these different things impact who we are and how we see things. And so it really is important for us to understand how we are looking at something. As we're growing up, your family, your friends, influential people in your life from all different areas, they all have impact. They've all shared their understanding of something. They've answered questions that you may have had about how something works or why something is happening. And they give you their understanding. And so you learn from them. Now, as we're learning from all these people, we're actually stepping into seeing whatever the topic is from their perspective. We don't necessarily recognize that at the time. We just are taking in information. And, throughout our lives, sometimes more than others, but really throughout our life, We are eager to understand, to learn something new, to experience things. And so we have all these people around who are super happy to share with us. I mean, that's what my podcast is, right? It's here, sharing information with you, providing you with a different opportunity to understand something, to maybe hear something for the first time. You've got books you love to read, movies you've gone to see that maybe really, really touched you in different ways and left an impact. Well, that impact came about based on the perspective, based on looking through the eyes of the person who directed that movie, produced it, wrote it. It was all of their way of seeing things, the emotions that they were feeling that created that wonderful movie that you had the opportunity to sit and enjoy. But we often don't walk away from things going, wow, that was really creating emotion in me. And that all came about as a result of, and then you fill in the name of the person who wrote the script or produced or directed. We don't tend to do that, but that's what just happened. Now, looking at it from that perspective, what else is in your life that you are responding to, holding dearly to you, or maybe even pushing away, that is all from how another person is looking at it, their emotions that brought them to what they're sharing with you? Everything comes through the vision of another person. How I share with you is through my vision, my understanding, my personal experience. And really, that's what Cultivating Kindness with Karen is all about. It's me sharing my experiences, sharing what I've learned, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and my understanding as to why it did or did not work. And then my hope is you'll take the information and you'll find out what in it is true for you instead of just blindly following something I say. So when we look at things this way, it brings around a whole new set of questions for us. You know, it helps us see that joy in our life or those moments of sadness from a new way, a new lens that we can look through. Right? The hardships, those difficult times, I will never, yep, that's the word, I will never discount a difficult time or a hardship someone's going through. But I will, and I do this with clients, I will help you see why or what the effect is that is impacting you to the degree that it is. Help you see that there is this other person or multiple people that have helped shape your experience. And we tend to look at something and just think, this is just who I am. This is how I see it. This is the reality of the world. This is my reality I'm living. So this is it. And we ignore the fact that this reality that we're living is all based on perceptions from others. They have taught us how to look at it. You know, if you travel, I haven't done a lot, but, you know, the little bit of traveling I've done to another country, when you arrive, and if it's your first time there, like the first time I went to Scotland, I was wide-eyed. I was excited to be there. This was where my husband's family was from. He went to school there for 8 years, and it was like, I want to experience this. And I was looking at it, a lot of it, from my own wide-eyed, I don't know anything about this way of looking at things. I didn't do a lot of research. I didn't talk to many people about what I will see, what I'm going to do. So I didn't have a lot of other people's information when I arrived. And so I saw it in a different way. There was one pub we were going to for lunch, and out front was a chalkboard with what was written as the daily special. And it said day old soup. And I was like, seriously? They're advertising day old soup? And I was like, this is crazy. Who wants day old soup? And I mentioned that to my husband, and he went, I do. And I went, why? He said, because it tastes better. All those flavors have been sitting in that pot, and they've been marinating and exchanging with each other and creating a flavor that wasn't there the day that it was freshly made. And I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. Never heard that before. I grew up in a family that never made homemade soup, so this whole concept was different for me. And thought, okay, so I tried it. It was delicious. And for the rest of my trip, I'm looking for somewhere to have lunch that advertised day old soup. I allowed myself to have a different perspective. I allowed myself to see something in a new way. And then I also did allow myself to look at it from my husband's viewpoint, from seeing that sign through his eyes. My eyes went, this is crazy. His eyes went, ooh, delicious. And then I found what was true for me. I found the soup to be delicious. Now, in all honesty, did I find every day old soup I tried while I was there delicious? No. Some I like better than others. And it was all just bringing in information for myself as to how I was going to choose what I was ordering while I was away. You know, I saw the country, the architecture, things from a different perspective, really from like a child's way of looking at things, where because he had been there for so many years, he was intent on giving me information. I really just wanted to be immersed in the energy of where I was and to feel what I was seeing versus being given the information about what I was seeing or how to look at it. Now, that's what's most common. We will be given information about how to look at something, how to perceive it, how to bring it into our life, how to work with it. That happens so often, almost continuously through our whole life. And so that becomes the norm, that becomes the habit. That's our autopilot. And we totally lose track that we are looking at something from somebody else's eyes. We think because we see it, we are only seeing it through our physical eye. And we forget that emotions and knowledge and belief systems are all back in there. It's kind of like behind your eyes as another filter as we look out at things. And we really lose track of it just being through the eyes of others. You know, when you're able to look at something from a different perspective and you really consciously make that choice, you look at something and then you think, all right, how can I look at this differently? You know, so if you've got, you got a camera, you're looking, and then you just change the angle slightly, you'll see what is in that viewfinder on your camera will be slightly different. If you choose to do that with your own thoughts and work with it, and we're going to talk about this today, how to shift things, what other tools you can bring in, you allow yourself this opportunity to let go of what others have been telling you and open up that opportunity to see things on your own. And right now, and I know we need to go to our break soon, but right now is perfect for this. We had a full moon yesterday. It was a really powerful one. And it is all about this energy of letting go of what isn't serving you, of letting go of what is keeping you on autopilot, right? What do you want to no longer be carrying with you? And then we're in Mercury retrograde until January 1st, 2024. When you're in retrograde, it's all about looking back, seeing what might come forward to you from the past. And people joke that, yeah, this is a time when an ex may pop back into your life again, or something else, a friendship that you chose to let go of and they reach out, whatever it might be. But during Mercury retrograde, this is your time to say, okay, what am I truly letting go of? So we've got all these universal energies saying, do not carry forward what is not going to be truly supportive of who you genuinely are. And then Mercury's going, hey, slow down, let go, look at this. What are you going to choose to not bring forward for yourself? And then we've got our new year happening in a couple of days. The universe couldn't conspire any more brilliantly for you right now. Might be rough, but it's brilliant. So think about that for a minute. We're going to go to our first break, and there's so much to bring forward for you here on today's show. So I really appreciate everyone showing up live and either watching or listening live with me right now. And don't forget, you can always come over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room and come in and join us in the chat room and ask any questions and be part of the conversation. So if you'd like to do that, this break is an excellent time for you to pop in. All right, we will be back soon, and we've got so much more to cover today. So don't go away, everyone. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen at karenleslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. So I want to stay very on task here today because there's so much information coming in on, whose eyes are we looking through? Not just on 2023, but in this very moment. And whose eyes do you wish to be looking through as we move forward? In the next hour, tomorrow, 2024, it doesn't matter. But what I really want you to understand is your perception on what you see and hear and do is really fundamentally based on the perception of others, how their experience has been in the world. And then they share it with you. And it's shared again and again and again and again. And then you think, wow, this must be fact. This must be how it is. This must be how I do these steps to get to where I want to be. And what if none of that is actually accurate for you? There may be some bits and pieces that are, but I'll bet there's a whole lot that's not. Before the break, I talked a little bit about Mercury retrograde, and it is a time to slow down. And during the break, there was a saying that popped into my head that it may not be 100% accurate, but it's like, what do fishermen do when they can't go to sea? They stay home and they repair their nets. So they make sure everything is in good order for when they then need any tool, i.e. a net, and it's there and ready to use and high functioning for them. There'll be no problems. So if you are feeling a little draggy right now, and I have certainly been experiencing this energy, then slow down. Allow yourself to slow down. Do something nurturing for yourself. It may not be repairing your nets. That's okay. But I bet you that the fishermen that did do that by hand and those that still do today, there will be an element of nurturing, that repetitive task, that they trust their skill and their knowledge to know where part of the net is weakening or to see where it's actually broken. And then they know what to do. They have the tools to do it. So if you're taking that time to nurture and rest and be with yourself over the next couple of days, allow yourself to be very present with it. And here's one of the ways that I am going to be very present with this energy myself, most likely tomorrow. One of the things I love to do is I love getting a brand new calendar for the upcoming year at Christmas. My personal favorites for a number of years are the ones that have the Siberian Husky dogs throughout them. They are one of my favorite breeds of dogs. We've owned a couple of them. And I love getting my calendar out, and I write in the birth dates of those people who are special to me on it. And I know you may think I should know them all off by heart, but even my own children, I love putting them on the calendar, anniversaries, as well as if I've got any appointments booked into January that I've written down somewhere else, I put those all in. But what I'm going to do this year, which will be different, as I'm starting next January, let's try this again. As I'm looking at January 2023 to see what I'm putting in for January 2024, I'm going to pause and I'm going to check in. And how did I feel about that event, that person, that whatever it was that's in that little square in my calendar? How do I feel about that now? And I'm going to take myself through the exercise of, all right, how did it make me feel at the time? If it's somewhere I went, how did I feel being there? How did I feel with being with the people that may have been involved in it as well? Did I go out of choice? Or did I go from obligation? Did I go on autopilot? This is just what I do. And now, is it going back onto my calendar for 2024? And if it is, how am I going to look at it differently? How am I going to view this from my eyes, from Karen's eyes, not the eyes of family members, not the eyes of coworkers, or whomever it might be? And what will go on that calendar are the things that I am actually choosing to be part of, with being as close to wholly authentically Karen. Am I wholly authentically me 24/7? No, not yet. I still have some space to grow and change and develop into that. I am closer to being that person on a regular basis. But I am recognizing, and especially over the Christmas holidays, I saw very clearly old patterns, habitual patterns that surfaced, and they made me more uncomfortable this year. That discomfort was because I am no longer an energetic match. I am no longer changing who I am to fit the energy of where I am. I am working very hard, very strong at being my energy, what feels a contribution to me, regardless of where I am. Now, never do I want to forget about the energy of kindness. So I am learning how to balance who Karen is in this moment, maintaining that energy of kindness, which is very important to me. But what is shifting is the energy of kindness towards myself is increasing. The energy towards others is not decreasing. It's not a give and take. I'm adding more awareness of the energy of kindness to myself. And as a result, I know that that will have impact on those around me. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to do something differently. I can just be that energy. And if that doesn't make sense to you, that's cool. No problem at all. If you'd like to have a conversation about it, if you would like to understand it more, then get in touch with me. Send me an email, Karen@KarenLeslie.ca, and it's Leslie for Leslie, or you can book a 30-minute free call with me, and we can just have a conversation and see if I can help you understand, where I'm coming from and how I'm looking at this, or bring me a question and we can have a chat. This idea of the world being give or take, so if something goes up, something must go down. No, especially with kindness. No, you can up the kindness for you and not take kindness away from someone else. This isn't an apple pie where it's only got so many slices. You can maybe do it in fours and everyone can get a massive quarter, or you can keep shrinking it down, 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 down. So everybody's getting maybe a 16th of a piece, to the point where you can't share it anymore because you can't make that slice any smaller to get it out of the dish. Kindness does not work that way. How you see yourself does not work that way either. When we really look at ourselves and we really look at what's in our life, it actually gives us more. If you find it's giving you less, then you're looking through the eyes of someone else. Right? Did you get that? If you're seeing less opportunity, less possibility, less, okay, less comfort with actually wishing to be who you are looking through the eyes of someone else. When you are looking through your eyes, genuinely through your eyes, you will see more possibilities. You'll see greater joy. Your body and the cells in your they're going to respond in a different way. Now, your body, your cells, right? They're always responding, but you will start to notice subtle changes. Sometimes it may be a big change. Sometimes that can be a little overwhelming, and it can be like, whoa, okay, I'm not so sure I asked for this much change. It is there for you based on how you're willing to see it. Begin with this question. Are you willing to actually see the world from your own eyes? I get a very strong yes. My being wants to see the world more and more through my eyes. Is it working for you to continue to see the world through the eyes of others? I get kind of a mixed answer for myself on that one, so I would need a little bit deeper question. So that is telling me that some areas of my life that I'm looking through the eyes of others is not working. And then there will be some aspects where it works for me. It is a contribution to me to continue seeing it that way, and that even though that belief may have come from another person. Asking these questions, being willing to truthfully hear the answer, feel the answer in our bodies, is a game changer. Total game changer. But really, are you willing to actually see the world from your eyes? I want you to think about that. We're going to go for our second break and really mull that over. Ask yourself a couple of times. And then when we get back, I'm going to give you, share with you some different tools and ways that you can step into seeing the world from your own eyes more often and more often until maybe you can get to the space where almost everything you look at is from your own way of looking at your reality and is not based on habits and prejudicisms and old conflicts, all based from other people. So stay tuned here. You've got a couple of messages you can listen to while you're asking yourself that question. Do you remember the question? Are you willing to actually see the world from your eyes? All right, think about that, everyone. We'll be back just in a couple of minutes. Thanks.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. So, did you get an answer to the question that I had you look at before we went to our break? Are you willing to actually see the world from your own eyes? As odd as that may sound, especially if you just joined us, you may not quite get what I'm talking about. So at the end, you can go back and you can listen to the beginning of the show again. But if you've just joined, stay with us. It will become a lot clearer to you, I promise. In order to look at the world through your own eyes, you need to make a couple of choices. You need to be okay with seeing things from a different perspective, from seeing things in a new way, allowing yourself to be exposed to a new way of thinking about something, allowing yourself to say, oh, does that still work for me? Do I still believe that? And if you don't, oh, now what are you going to do? We would feel very different. We may get unnerved. We may decide, oh, no, this way I'm feeling now when I ask that, that's uncomfortable. So that must mean no, I'm not willing to do that. Or, wow, that response I just had is so strong. I really can't agree with anything Karen's saying. She's got to be wrong. This whole idea, she's making it up. That's cool too. Remember, what I share on my show is my experience, what's worked for me, what works with my clients, and bringing you, hopefully, a new way to look at things to help expand your life. Right? If things aren't changing, if everything's status quo, we're always in the same energies. For a lot of us, we lose some of our vitality. We lose that same level of joy that we do remember we might have had before. You know, you can do something that was super exciting. Okay, let's take a roller coaster. So for those of you who love going on a roller coaster, and I used to many years ago, I haven't been on one in a long time, but I loved them. You go on a roller coaster and you get that exhilaration, that joy, or maybe it's terrifying, whatever it is, but it brings you this rush of emotion, and you're like, that is awesome. You know, you get off and you think, I want to go on that again. And so you go on it again. Now, if you keep going on that same roller coaster, time after time after time, year after year, every time that theme park opens up, or if you go to one that's open year round, but you only stay on that one roller coaster, that level of excitement, of exhilaration, how you responded in the beginning, it will start to change. It's going to be a little less. You can anticipate just before you hit a curve that you're going into it, so you don't get that surprise factor. You know what it's going to be like when you crest over that top way up in the air before you start to just rush down those tracks. If there's a tunnel and there's an area that's blacked out, you know, when you first went into it, that can be like kind of shocking. And then you think, how long am I going to be in here? But you know it's coming. If you stay on that same roller coaster, it does not give you that same heightened experience. So then you may go looking for different roller coasters because you're still in that mindset. I love roller coasters. And so you'll be looking for ones where you can't predict what's happening. You'll be looking for a new or a different experience. And then we keep searching because we love, our bodies love, and our minds too, you know, for the most part, love these new experiences. The mind is going to be more on board if you are willing to approach things in a way that you look at it from your own eyes. Open yourself up to new opportunities. Allow your vision, and it will be more metaphorically speaking, allow your vision to expand, to be able to see more with your own eyes. When we take off the filters of how we see the world from somebody else's perspective, things can look very, very different. So you would want to be asking yourself, do I still believe, and then fill in the blank? You could ask, why do I believe that? Now, why, I know I've cautioned the word why in using it, because it can just be lead you in a spiral of never getting an answer or information that you can work with. And that's still true. So you can take out the word why and ask, okay, what do I believe about this? Or what do I believe about that? You know, do I still believe whatever it might be that pops into your head? Who first told me about this? Who is the greatest influence in my life? What do they believe? Those questions are going to start to bring you some ideas of how your perception on something is colored by another person's opinion about it, right? You can ask if you've got a belief or a thought that's roaming through your head over and over again. Where did this idea come from? Where did this thought come from? Chances are good you're going to get the impression or a name of somebody else that they have been the influence for that thought coming to you. And then you do this often enough and you start to recognize that so few of your thoughts actually are your own. If you're looking at your calendar, how I was, talking about what I'm going to do with it in the second segment of the show, and then you're like, okay, where did this idea come from? And then you think, all right, am I going to carry that with me into 2024 in the same way? Am I going to look at it in the same way? Do I wish to hold on to this belief in the same way? Now, there might be some aspects that still hold very true for you, that you do believe and you do feel work for you. They're still correct for you. And there can be some aspects that are like, oh, that's not so comfortable anymore. Or, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. That's not who I am today. And then you start to create the change. And you start to look at, how would you like to be viewing what's in your life? How do you wish to see it? If something's really not working in your life, it doesn't mean you have to toss it out. It may be that how you looked at it before, these ideas, these impressions, these beliefs from other people, you are just now recognizing, wait, I don't hold the same belief as they do. If I was to change how I believed about this, or if I was to change how I looked at this, I wonder what would feel different. And in doing that, you start to become more into how you authentically look at things and what feels more accurate to who you truly are. The more often you do this, especially over this next little time frame, right? You've got this beautiful opportunity now going into 2024 as to how you want to be taking thoughts and beliefs, actions, activities into the new year with you. If you set goals, I don't tend to use the word resolutions, but if there's things you want to create, if there's something that you would love to manifest, bring into your world in the next calendar year, cool. How are you going to view those differently than you are currently looking at them to allow that change to come forward? If we rely on looking at things the way we do now, through the perception of others, based on the beliefs and experiences of others, it is going to impact things as it currently is, and then bringing something new into your life is going to be a challenge, because it's going to be influenced and directed, colored, shaped by those beliefs from other people that you're still carrying around with you. I've said a number of times, if you want more from your life, then you have to ask more from yourself. And today, that means challenging yourself to look at what you would like using your own eyes, not using the perceptions that others have given you that have become such a habit that you think that they're your own. Working with these energies of saying, oh, there's so much more out there for me, and the universe wishes to give you more. But it's currently giving you with what you're asking for and who you're being in this moment. So you'll get more of the same until you're willing to change that. Looking at your reality through your own eyes can be such a gift. It can lead you into creating more than you in this 10 seconds are even probably aware of. So when we go to our next break, I'd love you just to take just a couple of minutes, because the breaks are very short, and think about, okay, what would you maybe like to have in 2024 that right now isn't in your life? And maybe right now you're pretty unsure as to how you're going to make this happen. Bring to mind a couple of ideas. And when we come back from our break, let's chat about different ways that you can bring that into your being, into your life, and into your reality, so that 2024 can have a brand new energy for it, different than what you've experienced in the past. Right? Don't go away, everyone. We'll be back just in a couple of minutes. You're here with Karen Leslie on Cultivating Kindness with Karen, and I'm thrilled that you're joining me again today. So when we get back, we'll wrap all this up and we'll see how comfortable we can get you with looking at your life with your own set of eyes. All right, we'll be right back, everyone.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. Thank you for being here with me today. This is our very last show together in 2023. Most definitely not our last show together from this point on. I'm excited to enter into 2024 with everybody, explore all kinds of new topics, and expand how we all grow. Expand these thought processes that we have so that we can look at things from a new perspective, to bring in this energy of empowerment, of confidence, this knowledge that who we currently are today and who we've been over the last number of months, years, decades, that doesn't have to stay stagnant. And you do not have to change everything. So, aspects of your personality, of your life, of how you do things that really bring you joy and fill your heart up, identify those, know what they are, and know that those are there for you to hold on to continue to be in that energy and allow them to contribute more and more to the other areas of your life. The whole idea from today's show is for us to pause and look at and think, okay, so where have I been on autopilot? Where have I been doing things and looking at my life and myself based on how other people see me, based on how other people see the world in general, based on how other people feel I should be conducting my life, what they see as good for me, what my goals should be, where I should be heading. You get so much in your life, people saying, oh, you'd make a great fill in the blank. Or we go for career counseling, or we take different programs and personality tests and things, which will give us information and direction that we could choose to take. Well, you got to remember that how you answered those questions is also based on how people have been seeing you, what you've bought into for yourself. So even though the tests are to be unbiased and equal for everyone, are they truly? How you answer could be based on experiences you've had from information you got from others. I have often been told that I'm really lousy with numbers and money in general. So in looking at that, I bought into it for a long, long time. In choosing to look at it through my eyes, allowing myself to be very present, very vulnerable, open, to allow myself to see new possibilities, to expand my vision on this area that causes me some struggles. I was able to see that, yes, I transpose numbers easily, so I may have slight dyslexia. I was able to recognize how some memory things, how my brain worked, how it influenced things. I saw how I'd bought into a lack of confidence that wasn't true. But it was an easy way out because I could just tell myself, oh, I can't do that, or I don't do that well. Instead of saying, how can I look at this differently so that it will work well? Sure. Do I need some help with some things? Yeah. So who can help me? How do I work with this so it works for Karen in a positive way so that my life expands, doesn't become smaller and more contracted, and I see it from my perspective, through my eyes, through what I know to be true for me, not thoughts that I felt were true based on what other people have told me. That took some time. That took some work, some effort on my part, working with coaches, allowing myself to be very present. And the outcome has been fabulous. In knowing who you are and allowing yourself to see you and your world through your own eyes is empowering. Sure, we're going to see things that aren't going to be working super. I understand Karen in numbers and some things in a different way. None of it is a problem. It's actually really encouraging because I'm getting to know myself better. I'm bringing in the support structures that help me. I am looking at it from a new perspective that allows me to not go through that lens of judgment. Now I look through my own eyes as to what else is possible here. What else can I learn about myself to make this work better for me, to make this easier, to make this more fun, whatever it might be. This is possible by when we stop looking through the eyes of others. When you're willing to look at who you are, how you would like to move forward. What are you wanting to take into 2024 with you? And what ways of looking at certain things are you going to choose to leave behind in 2023? It's only you that can make that choice. It's only you that has that power to change your perspective. Everyone, we all, myself included, we all love to give each other our own point of view. But it's up to each and every one of us to filter through that, to ask questions, to say, truth. Does this work for me? Truth. Is this actually true for me? Do I believe this? Fabulous questions there at the end. Go back, listen again, maybe write them down. Before we run out of time, which is really quick, next week, our first show of 2024, Does the Universe Lead or Follow? Is what our show is called. So I hope you will join me then. I hope you have a wonderful remaining time in 2023, and we'll see you all in the new year. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Karen Leslie returns Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can find Karen at KarenLeslie.ca and follow her on social media. Until next Wednesday, Karen is sending you waves of kindness for a fabulous week. Remember, it's only you who has the power to be and receive the kindness required to change your life.